The rising. The sky had turned to fire. Flames of orange and red licked the heavens as the world below trembled. The ground rumbled, not with the violent fury of an earthquake, but with the awe-filled anticipation of millions of souls waiting for a moment they had been promised for so long. The rapture was upon them, the culmination of a century of hope, faith, and longing. It had finally come. The people were gathered in the open fields, on mountaintops, in cities, anywhere that the horizon was clear enough to witness the grand spectacle unfolding above. There was no fear, no hesitation, only devotion. The faithful raised their arms to the sky, their faces bathed in the blood-red glow of a world that seemed to hold its breath in reverence. And then, there it was, a figure vast and radiant, breaking through the clouds. The air was charged with a crackling energy, and the crowd gasped as the form of their God began to rise. A being of unimaginable size and power, framed by the golden light of the heavens. The people cheered, their cries of joy and relief filling the air, as they saw the figure, glorious, divine, radiant beyond comprehension, floating down toward them. Some fell to their knees weeping tears of joy, while others cried out his name, welcoming their God with open arms. It was the moment they had waited for, the moment of divine grace. And yet, as the figure drew closer, as the blinding light began to fade, and the shape became clearer, something shifted in the air. The wind stilled. The music of the heavens, which had filled the earth with a heavenly melody, stopped abruptly. A slow realization crept through the crowd, a whisper that began at the back and slowly spread to the front. God was rising, and he was not descending. The divine form, once shining with purity, was not coming to greet them in salvation, but rising higher, moving upward with deliberate slowness, pulling away from them. As the crowd watched, transfixed and horrified, the figure's size expanded, growing, towering far beyond human comprehension. The radiance of the being became more grotesque, the light now harsh and almost blinding, distorting the once holy form into something monstrous, an unfathomable vastness that reached for the very fabric of the sky. The people stumbled back, their joy now turning to confusion, then dread. The air was thick with disbelief as the first cries of panic rippled through the crowd. They had cheered at the sight of their Savior, but now that they saw the being for what it truly was, their hopes shattered into terror. The earth shook harder as the figure continued its ascent. The noise of the world below, of the people who had thought they were to be saved, drowned out by the godlike entity's growing power. Their God was not lifting them up. He was leaving them behind. The realization hit them all at once, and with it, a cold wave of terror. God, the very entity they had worshipped, prayed to, and believed in, was not here to embrace them. He was not here to take them into the light. He was rising above them, indifferent, a cosmic force beyond their comprehension, leaving them behind like ants beneath a giant's heel. Some wept in terror, unable to grasp the enormity of their fate. Others screamed, their voices filled with betrayal and horror as they realized the truth. The rapture had not been a blessing. It had been a rejection. The figure in the sky continued to rise, its shape now nothing more than an overwhelming presence that consumed the sky. The vastness of it was incomprehensible, and beneath it, the people were nothing. Their cries grew faint, swallowed by the terrible silence that followed the rapture's distorted culmination. They had believed in the promise of salvation, the glorious ascension to a new world. But now, as their God disappeared into the distance, the reality settled like ash in their lungs. They were not chosen. They were forgotten. And the rapture they had longed for was not a gift, but a cosmic judgment they could never escape.